All right, markets on a bounce now. Bitcoin, ETH, crypto, stocks are all on a bounce, but is this a dead cat bounce, right? Can we believe in this? So first of all, we're having this bounce here, but this is not led by crypto. You know what it's led by? Obviously, it's by the stock market. So right here, this is like up 2.7% on the NASDAQ in composite. QQQs, 2.5 and 1.5 for SPY, right? Have they made it back to the new all-time highs yet? Not quite. We haven't even recovered this big line of dump yet, right? This big line of dump. So straight up, what is causing this bounce? Can we believe in it? And if we're getting a bounce, then obviously Bitcoin would get a big bounce. But what are some of the old coins we would get into? I'm going to talk about the most bullish narrative that's been happening in the last 3 weeks. Whilst Bitcoin's been dumping, these stocks have been going straight through the roof. What's the most bullish coin right there, right now? So going straight into it, what caused this bounce today was because two of the Federal Reserve presidents came out and said they want to cut rates. Daly, right, says he wants to cut rates. And then before him, Waller says he wants to cut rates, right? These are all Fed presidents. And Waller is actually one of the executives. There's only like 5 executives, and there's 17 Fed presidents because you got regional presidents like, Philadelphia Fed, New York Fed. But the Waller is looking like the man to get the job to replace Jerome Powell, right? Of the 3 candidates that Trump could possibly name, Waller is right up there, right? One of the top 3 names up there. So what's the impact it had on the market? We've gone from 30% chance, like a week ago it was a 42%. I remember like it was at 30% even before that. And now we've gone to 85% chance of a rate cut. How much? Like looking like it wasn't going to happen. Now it's looking like 85% chance it's going to happen, right? Odds might climb even more by December the 10th. December the 10th, we get the next Fed meeting. So not only so, but, crypto has been dumping lately. Stocks have been dumping lately because, as I've been saying, we've had a liquidity crisis. And for crypto, it's double the crisis because for the stock market, it's basically, we're at 89K now. I'll give you guys the resistance levels as I see on this. For the stock market, it's basically the Federal Reserve said they weren't going to cut rates by December. The Federal Reserve also said they were not going to do proper QE. It might be just what they call repos. I've explained all this before in my videos from the last couple of days, but we can see here, right? The U.S. banking system is borrowing like a few $1 billion. Here was $50 billion. Here was $22 billion. But every couple of days, every next day, they borrow like, $2 or $5 billion from the central bank. And that's not normal. That's not a good situation, right? So the Fed knows they have to do little bit of QE. They won't admit it. They'll call it repos. They'll call it short-term repos, whatever they call it. They could pump a lot more liquidity into the market, and I don't think we should be so pessimistic. So on this Bitcoin bounce, are we in a V-shaped bottom? If this closed up higher, like here, right, 86 or above, then I'd call that a bottom candle. Then I'd be looking for a V-shaped bottom. And then we could go all the way to like 100K or even 100 and what's the next, right? Even 107K, right? Eventually, I think we take out 116K to 118K eventually. But on this bounce we're in right now, because this is not a bottoming tail, because this didn't close. See the tail here, the wick didn't close all the way up. So I'm expecting more of these bottoming, crabbing, bouncing action before we go up.